GM, everybody. Happy Thursday. Man, what a good day. Just saw another migration announcement, which we'll dive into here in a second. I just put a gigantic thread out on strategies and Naka strategy, which we'll also dive into. It took a little bit to type that up, but felt like it was necessary because people are wondering. It looks like Hustle's taking a gigantic deuce in the toilet. But it just means that we're just going to have to buy.
Who's selling, bro? Who's selling? Jeez.
It just means we're just going to have to buy back the supply after the Pump Fund migration group.
Yep.
At the end of the day. But nonetheless, whether Hustle's going up, Hustle's going down, market's going sideways, we are here every day as we've just been doing for the past 3 years with this show and 9 years in the history of the company, man. Adam, how are we feeling today? Also, what is good? Bratoshi, who is first on the live stream.
Funny, man. Yeah, you mentioned, Hustle took a dump, and I just pulled up the chart, and it's like, wow. Went from what, 3.5 million to 2.5? I don't know how much that dude sell. How much did that dude sell, Chris? Did you check it out?
No idea.
Massive red candle.
Let's do some digging here to
it's
see.
Funny because while you're looking at, somebody in Naked Jim, he DM'd, oh man, somebody just nuked our chart this morning. I was like, oh man, welcome to crypto, bro. So it is what it is, man. It's you can sell when you want, you can buy when you want. People bought more. Like obviously there's a green candle right after that huge red candle.
Yeah, let me see. So there's some people buying 10. There's probably like a big candle down here. I'm going to continue to scroll. I think the hot dump happened while I was.
Why is there not an easy way when there's a candle
100? Like there we go. Somebody sold 1% of the supply. So 200 ETH or 200 SOL, which is what, like 40K almost, 35K?
Wow.
So how many 28K. So 9.6 million is 0.96% of the supply. 10 million is 1%.
10 million Hustle tokens were sold in a candle. Nice.
Yeah. So one sell. We do bid you adieu, whoever this is. It looks like they had previously sold before. Let's see if they sold their entire Hustle stack. It says this wallet's earned 76K. So another whale, I think, exiting is the case. Unfortunate, but can't force everyone to stay. We got a lot going on. The agent space is in a little bit of a tough spot. But man, I got to say, I put this post out yesterday about testing Hustle, the last 2 chains that we're going to be expanding here. I think the one will be next week, and one like maybe the month after. Man, it makes me so excited about the future and the stuff that Hustle can do, and the stuff that is coming is quite interesting. I usually don't get excited about things, but testing out Hustle with prediction market stuff is quite insane to say.
Bro, I saw Chris making screenshots. What was that you were doing, Chris, with the
it's under the wraps. It's under, dude, that's top secret info, bro. That's top secret info. It's coming to the Hustle panel pretty soon, but it'll be sick, bro. It'll be sick. It's a nice upgrade. It's kind of a change in the dynamic of how we kind of interact with Hustle, and gives us a glance into how much more he can do and what he can process. So pretty excited about that, and also the stuff that Jake was working on as well.
Yeah, I've been doing a bunch of testing, to say the least. We've been talking about prediction market stuff. It was actually kind of crazy that I was testing it out, and somebody that I was talking with, they're like, hey, throw this in the terminal to see what happens. And he literally, the first thing he put out was a winning bet. Kind of crazy. That to me seems like very mainstream centric. Like that feels like a product that could totally go mainstream.
Totally. I mean, you think about all of crypto, it's like people are looking for areas where they think they have edge. And I mean, it's been kind of Hustle's superpower is just kind of overlooking all these tokens and finding you an edge. And seems like in that space, it's even more ripe for that sort of thing. Just because it's all kind of he said, she said bullshit stuff, man. I don't know. It just feels like there's a lot of room for, manipulation and informational asymmetry to take advantage of that. I don't know. It just feels like it. Way more than, football or something, which is almost impossible. Like this feels like there's actually like the individual can have edge here.
The cool thing though is that like you can track flows on Polymarket too. So it works like, they have NFL bets or NBA bets in play that you can kind of track and actually get more of a live feed into like what real people with a real edge are seeing. So you can see like sharp money coming in on a Polymarket if the Denver Broncos, have an injury that maybe hasn't been released or whatever it might be. So pretty cool there. And then in terms of just like the token and everything in general, it is like funny. Like the company is the most advanced it's ever been. We just launched another successful product that's going to bring in serious revenues as we kind of expand those collections. I mean, we're the biggest holder of Hustle. Clearly, our incentives are for the token to go up, and we centered the entire company and all of our products around Hustle. And so, yeah, I mean, if the market just wants to give us an opportunity to buy a bigger percentage of the supply down low, I can't say that we can be mad at that. I mean, no one wants the chart to be down, but the best situation that we can be in is to be able to accumulate as much as we can on the lows. So if anyone doesn't want to be along for the journey, totally understandable. But this is a funny place to jump ship. I mean, the things we have lined up over the next couple months are the craziest that they've ever been. But Godspeed.
Yep.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm typing up. Love to see. I just saw that. Love to see this. I saw that there's a recent migration announcement, and this is a gigantic thread. I'm gonna pull it up here in a second. But yeah, Hustle token price, obviously, when it's down, it sucks. We want the price to go up as well. You got to be experimenting. Maybe some people are not happy with the Nakamoto strategy experiment. It's not the official token of Emblem, but we are going to continue experimenting with the flywheel. There's no reason to not, because there was not really much of a lift here, and there's a ton of upside. Also, community will see a lot of benefits if we can jumpstart the Emblem ecosystem. That is a gigantic profit generating protocol when that is kicking. I think in 2021, before we joined the team, the protocol generated a few $1 million in revenue in 2021 and 2022, like multiples. So it's been kind of dormant since the ordinals run in 2023. And then later there was like a small kind of Pepe run that was happening. But we just know, man, you get Emblem going and it kicks. It kicks really well, especially Rare Pepe. That is, again, one of the largest NFT collections in the industry. So trying to do everything to get all three ecosystems cooking and cruising. Migrate Fund obviously is kind of leading. Agent Hustle, though, man, the agent space may take a little while for it to develop, but the more we tested things out, the more I'm convinced that this is 100% where the industry is going. Like I cannot see any other way around it. And so, while we curate Emblem and use Migrate Fund, Agent Hustle continues to get into the background of development.
And one more thing too, it does suck to lose whoever sold, not to just like hang up on that, but for a reference of like how big some of these strategies could be. Just in the past few days, strategy has, generated much more revenue for Emblem Vault than that person sold. So in terms of like orders of magnitude, how big can the revenues get from just multiple collections on the strategies? It will far outpace anyone that would have the ability to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we got an announcement from Agent Nyla announcing that they are migrating using Migrate Fund to Pump Fund. Man, a lot of engagement on this post. Holy moly. 13,000 views in just a little under an hour. They go on to talk about that they're using migrate.fund. They say the migration will professionally be handled in coordination with Migrate Fund. The process is straightforward and detailed. I'm explaining the steps along with the specific date that we'll be announcing probably in about 2 weeks or so. They're moving over to Pump.Fun. They mentioned the ICM ecosystem and the Pump Spotlight, and that, you know, they want to move over because they want frictionless swaps. They want community support. They want to be in an ecosystem that's focusing on ICM and has a lot of traction, has a lot of money. And the creator or CCM markets or the creator streaming seems to be something that is a lot more popular than I actually expected through all of the kind of migration conversations that they're having. Man, I still feel like there's another 10 of these announcements that have to come at some point in time, especially some of the larger ones. I don't even think any of the, I don't think the top 3 largest ones have announced yet. So we continue to work through them. Adam, what's your feeling on, you know, Migrate Fun heading into the Pump Fund migration here and maybe in the next, you know, 2 to 4 weeks or so?
I mean, it's bullish for us, right? I mean, all these teams want to move. It's just, there's not going to be, this isn't going to stop. Like, people want to move and get off of ecosystems or move to new ecosystems. I just don't think, you know, it's just not going to stop. There's always going to want to be teams who want to move. And, you know, based on whatever new thing comes out, you know, I don't know, whatever Pump had come out, you know, 2 days ago or a day ago with, you know, I don't know, wild mode or whatever the hell they
Mayhem
call
mode.
Mayhem mode. You know, I don't even, like, I was on a space. People don't even know what the hell it is. They don't know how it works. Like, but all this sort of stuff. And to think, like, you don't think the bonk guys have some stuff cooking? Like, this is just it's gonna continue to roll, continue to move, and people are gonna want to jump around. And I think, you know, obviously migrations are going to be happening. I mean, it's funny how much I see it on the timeline now. Like, the entire migration meta is everywhere now. And so, you know, being the one company that offers this, I think is fantastic. It's a fantastic position for us. Obviously, it's got to go well, right? We know that. And the pressure's on us to make sure that the pump migrations all go smooth. But if it does, you know, super bullish, bro. Super bullish. And it's going to get, like, as it gets bigger, the bigger companies or the bigger, you know, projects are going to migrate and move. And don't think there won't be special deals. I'm sure there will be eventually, where you get just some big giant dog and Alon makes a special deal for him, or the, you know, it is happening. It's going to be a fight for these projects. And I think it's only going to get more competitive. We've already seen it get extremely competitive. Extremely. Like, these guys are battling for these teams to come to their platform. So I only expect that to get more vigorous.
Yeah, it is quite interesting being in simultaneous referrals between like Punk Fun, sending them us clients, and then Pump Fun. Obviously, we love both teams and respect both of them a lot. And we're neutral. We don't go out. At least this is like probably the best part of it. We don't actually have to go out and find clients. Like, they're all just kind of brought to us. Like, that's the best
Literally all.
that you
Like,
can be
other
in.
than literally, like, with the first week where we did this, I think, you know, you and I made a list of like 10 projects that I think I wrote, like, DM'd. Like, 0 of them wrote us back, right?
I think IQ Labs and Project
IQ
89
Labs,
are like the few that we reached out to and got before Bong Fun got in. But since Bong Fun started participating, we haven't reached out to anybody.
Nobody. Literally 0. And it's like we get new ones every day, which is incredible, and just shows that the how deep the pool is. It's literally potentially thousands of companies, right, and thousands of people. So yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, the pump, I mean, it hasn't even really hit the timeline yet. When it actually goes off, it's going to be really exciting to watch it.
Yeah, I completely agree as well. Let's dive a little bit into this like mayhem mode stuff. I was kind of interested. We had a few kind of concerned migration teams asking about mayhem mode. They were like, "Are they taking away creator royalties? Are they changing the bonding curve? What's going on here?" I actually didn't know. I had to ask them what the hell mayhem mode was. It turns out that it's agentic fueled. I had somebody actually message me this morning asking if Hustle was powering mayhem mode. It's not, unfortunately, but you know, maybe in the future. From what I was reading about this, I guess they're trying to combat dumpers and snipers by basically issuing 1 billion tokens to an AI agent who is trading against he's essentially, you have like an agentic market maker who gets 50% of the supply. So instead of a 1 billion supply, the agent it's a 2 billion supply for the first 72 hours, and the agent owns 1 billion supply, so 50% of the supply, and they just basically trade the chart, increasing volatility. I was reading some stuff on the timeline yesterday of like, what's the point of this? From Pump's perspective, at least from their announcement, they go on to say that it's going to increase volatility. It helps with volume, and it also helps defeat or discourage pump and dumpers, because they're going to, I guess, trade against an AI agent who's going to essentially negate that in some capacity. I'm not really sure. I saw a bunch of upset people saying that there wasn't a single Mayhem coin that graduated yesterday, so therefore it's a failure. I don't think that's the case. You're obviously going to go through a handful of different variations of this. The most interesting part from my perspective is just they're introducing a new game to the coin casino. And that's kind of really how I'm treating it. I don't think this is going to replace anything, but they're going to throw some tests out because maybe they are trying to get into the AI market making service, and this is a kind of a test, or maybe they really have some kind of honest principles here, and they really are trying to defeat they really are trying to defeat a bunch of the pump and dumpers. So I'm not really sure.
They didn't have a graduation yesterday, though. That kind of speaks to it a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, I guess Crypto ISO, one of our old whales, was the seller here for Hustle. Dating back.
No shame. Anyone's welcome to move on.
Yeah.
No issues.
I wouldn't know. He's the one that posted it, so that's why I said that. Cool guy. We actually talked with him on a call once before. I don't sell shame anyone, even when
it is what it is.
Yeah, every time people hold their coins and interact in different ways, and they respect volatility and they don't, or they panic, they don't, or they find success. Anytime Hustle's pumping, or anytime there's a token pumping, I always tell people to take some profits so that you don't have to sell the bottom. But everyone wants to ape different things on their own. So yeah, I respect him. I hope he finds some success, and maybe he has more hustle. I have no idea, to say the least. But
with Pump, it is interesting though, because the issues aren't really on the market making side or even the pump and dump side. It's like more on like the developer side. All these coins are just being devved by huge bundles that just floor their supply. Anytime a token gets traction, they develop 50 tokens at a time, all bundled to hell. And then anytime one gets traction, they just unravel all their bundles. So, and they get paid for the volume that it brings, and they get paid to dump their tokens. So I don't know if a market maker will fix the actual issue within the trenches, but that's where I'm at with it. It's definitely the dev incentives.
Well, if that were, I mean, if Mayhem Mode's meant to like combat that, and basically do away with the bundles or whatever, just kind of trade it away, in the same way that like it would be traded away when the market was really rich, I guess you'd say. It would be like traded away, that the token would go down tremendously, and then the community would come in and like buy it up, and then it would run and rip, right? But if there's no like, if everybody's been burned so many times that there's literally no money to do that anymore, maybe you just get no graduations, right? You get nothing, which is not great for the pump guys, unless like this bot going to make a bunch of money and just basically drain all of the bundlers? Like that's possible. That'd actually be like not a bad strategy. That's like not the worst strategy. Just
I don't know,
all these guys out of the market.
It just seems that like I always applaud innovation and experimentation, and no one knows the right answer here. But it seems like a more pure answer to the issue would be to reward traders more than developers. Anyone can create a token with the press of a button. So why are you getting paid on volume and creator fees, and then whatever supply you initially buy. Why is that being rewarded the most when anyone can do it? But the hard part is getting traders to the token at this point, right? Because everybody's been so cannibalized. So it just seems like splitting the creator rewards differently and maybe giving traders incentives to actually trade coins rather than developers to develop coins. Do we need more coins? No. Do we need more traders? Yes.
Yeah, like the creator reward should kick in after like whatever 2 months, right? Then like the coin's established, okay, then you get creator reward.
So it could be a complex solution to it. I'm not sure. I haven't played with it too much, but it seems like there's more pure straight line directional incentives that we can push to traders rather than developers that would really solve that issue if that's the issue they're trying to solve for. I'm not sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Should be interesting. Cool though that we've been working with Pump, so we don't know any insights to them. They don't tell us their business operations or their strategies. Same situation with Bonk, right? They did the same thing. They didn't tell us what their marketing plans were, what their internals are. They just help with discovery, bring business, and then they answer technical questions. And that's kind of really the relationship there. But obviously, we want both of those relationships to continue to grow as there are positive business interactions with all of us as we continue to move forward and grow. Migrate Fund, man, continues to be the beast within all of the beasts.
It's funny. I'm looking at the post now. It's like, did Pump release mayhem mode on their own chart? I guess Pump is down, and I guess a lot of coins are down today. Maybe there's like just general market
to everyone.
down. Yeah,
even if you make $1 billion in a year, you still get the trenches upset.
Not good enough. Yeah,
it's never good enough. But we grind.
We grind. Yep, we grind forward. That's what we've been doing for 3 years. Adam, today is our 3-year anniversary. So congrats on 3 years with Emblem.
Happy birthday, guys. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We officially started the first, but I think if I remember correctly, we put like the public announcement. We joined the team on November 13th. So 3 years.
Yeah, all the charts go to zero. That's a celebration. Buying more hustle as we speak, literally.
Yeah, I've been buying. Honestly, I think I've put like 50 SOL in the last like month or so.
Hell yeah.
Since it's been down, continue to buy. We continue to buy. The teams continue to buy. We've already been buying since the last announcement. And we'll continue to buy with the Migrate Fund revenue. Obviously, Hustle's not profitable right now. So the revenue comes from Migrate Fund, which has a lot of positivity, and we're not stopping buying. I guess we'll just buy the whole supply.
I mean, at this stage, it's crazy. Is there any $2 million token that even buys their token or has interest in buying their token or has revenues or makes money or has innovative? I don't know. Like, it's kind of just like a joke. But hey, these are the times where people look back and be like, damn, that was literally the most obvious thing in the entire universe.
Obvious. Yeah.
And we will continue. One thing not so obvious and causing confusion, but fun nonetheless, the Nakamoto strategy. So I put a thread out today. I spent the weekend. Well, let's start here. I spent the weekend researching all of the different strategies because it's typical. This is just kind of how go about things. And I pinned it up to the top for anyone who wants to read it. If you're going to enter a market, you should know every single participant and all of the different implementations. We've been getting a lot of questions on what these strategies are. It's new and novel. It is kind of confusing to say the least, but I entered what Nakamoto strategy is. I dove into the summary of the Nakamoto card itself being a Bitcoin NFT issued in 2016, 300 supply, first asset in the Rare Pepe collection, and Rare Pepe being the first decentralized art collection. I looked today, Rare Pepe's market cap is $350 million for the last sale. So last sale market cap. I think that's a lot more accurate representation than the floor price itself, at least for ERC 1155 type assets. So it looked like one of the listings has been removed. So I think the floor is up to 50 ETH now. So it might take a little bit more for the Nakamoto card to get there, or either that or Pepe.WTF is indexing wrong. But we launched the Nakamoto strategy, Emblem being the biggest bridge, and Rare Pepe being our most popular collection in the Emblem Vault ecosystem. The Nakamoto strategy was the first ERC 1155 collection to be deployed by TokenWorks. Also, Rare Pepe itself, the Nakamoto card, has a market cap of $50 million, which I think is actually higher than every single ordinal collection itself, which is kind of crazy to think about. So that's one of the
crazy. Not that crazy.
not that crazy. Well, let's
I think in a lot of ways, like having it on Ethereum, right? Having it on OpenSea allows for, I mean, it's surprising to me kind of still that more ordinal collections haven't used it as just a way of like, if a normie sees it on the timeline and they're actually interested, for example, in like puppets, I don't want to figure it out. But if it were available on OpenSea, I just think they'd get a lot more traction. I just,
this is what we were trying. This is what we went on the ordinal show on Friday to. Oh, was my thread not even showing this whole time? What the fuck? So I'm gonna have to show this again. There's something going on with these. All right. So I'm gonna have to go through your thread again. But you look at the ordinals. So Node Monkey's is top at $30 million market cap. So the Nakamoto card is almost double the highest ordinal collection of just 300 assets, right? So that just shows you how easy of a decision it actually was to make Nakamoto strategy. Like it's literally sitting there to be experimented with.
Yep.
And there was no additional technical lift. Maybe some people are upset on either sides of, being a hustle holder, or some of the Bitcoin maxi or counterparty maxis who hate anything on Ethereum, which is completely okay. But at the end of the day, this is fresh. We're at the bottom of a bear market, or maybe in the midst of like a bear I guess you'd say an intra bull market kind of correction. And if you remember what happened last time, right after the FTX collapse happened, ordinals popped up literally like 2 months later, 3 months later, right after everyone was down horrifically. And this is the time when you should be looking for different types of things in the market, because when the market does come back, right, if you're in the right thing that you found at the bear market, you were literally at the very bottom of what 100x or 1000x kind of run up on something like that. And I was thinking about this yesterday, that ETH is in a bull market, and if ETH runs, there's really not that much on ETH mainnet to buy, right? Like everything is moved to L2s. So when ETH runs, like what are people going to start buying? I would assume this could be one of those potential things for people to purchase, because there isn't a launch pad on ETH mainnet for meme coins.
I was reminded, you just can't churn the same stuff again. I don't know if you guys saw on the timeline, like Pranksy tried to do like a, membership, join my club thing, bro. Destroyed. Like nobody bought that thing. I think
Nice.
he sold maybe 40K worth, which he probably bought 30 of that 40, and then like literally zero traction. And 2 days later was like, I'm out. Sorry, refunding all the money. Not going to happen. You can't come with the old game, man. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree. So let me run through this again. I'm going to run through the thread that I just put out just quickly, so we can get for some clips. But I posted the Nakamoto strategy deep dive, as well as into TokenWorks deep dive. So if anyone ever asks what's Nakamoto strategy, or what is TokenWorks, what are strategy collections, just send them this thread that's pinned up to the top, and they'll get a firm understanding hopefully after that. So Nakamoto strategy was launched last Friday, the first Emblem Vault collection to be supported by TokenWorks. The strategy collections are a recent incentive model or flywheel template that's captured the NFT community, probably the biggest thing to happen to NFTs this year. The Nakamoto strategy is the Rare Pepe card, or it's inclusive of the Rare Pepe card. 300 supply was issued and minted in 2016 on the Counterparty protocol on Bitcoin. It's the first asset in the Rare Pepe collection created by Rare Mike, who's an anonymous creator, one of the anonymous creators of Rare Pepe that no one still knows the identity of. And Rare Pepe is the first decentralized art collection with 300 artists and 1,774 unique assets of different supply. The all-time high is 267 ETH for the asset itself, according to Pepe.wtf. And Rare Pepe's current market cap is 350 million, which is at this point probably double or triple all ordinal collections combined.
Yeah.
Right. So we just did that. The Node Monkeys market cap is 30 million. The Rare Pepe or the Nakamoto card market cap itself is $125,000 times 300. So you're saying about a $40 million market cap, $45 million market cap. So about 50% higher than the Node Monkeys 10K collection itself. So for us, implementing or asking TokenWorks if they would support the Nakamoto card, easy no-brainer for us, being a very large collection itself. And also we want to spread the word of Rare Pepe. So what is, or not, I guess you say Nakamoto Strategy was the first ERC 1155 contract that was deployed by TokenWorks. I said Rare Pepe has a $50 million market cap. And Rare Pepe itself is the most vaulted, most traded, and most successful collection in the Emblem ecosystem that has over 100 million in TVL, was deployed to ETH mainnet in 2020. NFT strategies are ERC20 contracts that leverage flywheel mechanics and incentive models to create a positive feedback loop of buying NFTs and burning the underlying token. A lot of gibberish, but essentially what's going on here, if you go to some of the earliest posts by Adam or by Punkster, 1% or Punk Strategy was the first collection in the NFT strategies. So CryptoPunks 10K, 1% of all swap fees from all strategies go towards buying and burning Punkster. That's why the flywheel continues. Every CryptoPunk acquired by Punk Strategy is relisted 20% higher than the purchase price. For example, if the strategy's treasury purchases a CryptoPunk at 40 ETH, it'll relist it at 48 ETH. If that CryptoPunk is purchased on the secondary market for 48 ETH, it'll take that 48 ETH and buy Punkster token and burn all of it. The second collection to the market was Meebit Strategy. Meebits was the first to apply additional tokenomics on top of the flywheel. They took the 1% creator royalty and decided to purchase Meebits, the NFTs, and hold in their corporate treasury. As of today, there are 20 strategy collections. ERC 20 they have with Rect Strategy. There's ERC 721s, and then we are the first and only ERC 1155 as of today. Some of the notable strategies that I included, two of the most popular ones includes Vibester, which decided to create their own kind of flywheel. They take the purchased Good Vibes clubs and they take the proceeds to burn and buy Vibester. They also take a percentage of the creator royalties, and it goes to a rewards pool that's used for badge holders for loyalty and contribution. And they take a percentage of the Good Vibe Club NFT sales. They have enforced royalties because they deployed at a later date, I believe. And it could be directed to the Vibe wheel is what they're calling it instead of the flywheel. So they have outside capital coming in, the 1% protocol fee, NFT royalties on OpenSea, and the trading fees that are accumulated through royalties or through the Vibester trading. Chimpster is one that's been taking off a lot recently. They created something called the Dojo Reserve, where they take the 1% royalty from Chimpster trading and they go and buy Chimpster, they buy Punkster, they buy Chimper's NFTs, and then they distribute that to their community. And Goblin Town recently applied not one, but two additional flywheels. They're taking the 1% royalty and buying and burning the Goblin Town NFTs and the GOB token, which is on Solana. And then yesterday they announced that they're doing Goblin Town sweepstakes. I thought this was kind of interesting, where they basically taking the proceeds of all of the listed gobs from the protocol. They're buying and burning the Gobster token, Gobcoin, Goblin Town NFTs. They're selling these sweepstakes. It's 69 cents per ticket, kind of like a raffle. and then they are taking those Goblin Town NFTs that are owned by the Treasury Protocol, and they're selling those in the sweepstakes themselves. So they're basically trying to encourage people to buy the goblins that are listed by the strategy itself, because when those are bought, then obviously gobsters being bought and burned. And then they're just basically buying those NFTs and raffling them off. So pretty cool to see how that all works.
It's so funny. I'll just interject a little bit on the sweepstakes thing. Like, so many people were scared to do sweepstakes and any sort of like stuff like that for like legal reasons. Remember that? I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
and now it's just like people are like, fuck it, we're doing it. It's great. I love to see it, man. I love people just doing shit like that. Like, fuck it.
Crime is legal, right? You can do anything you want.
Crime is legal. Where does it all go from here? Not really too sure. I think, in my opinion, there's going to be more collections, more tokenomics, more interest. We've talked with a few ordinal collections, a few counterparty people, and some Solana collections who've reached out who are interested in using Emblem Vault to launch their own Token Works collection. So shout out to Adam, who's the founder of Token Works, who has created something cool for us to stay entertained and curious while the market sells off and NFTs are kind of in this weird position.
I mean, at the end of the day, like when we were talking in 21, up until recently, this idea of like buying the token back, we were always like, well, where's the outside revenue stream going to come from to add value into these systems, right? There was never an external like income source to bring value in. It was always just like the token revolving on itself, and then the Ponzi always ends. But what we have now is we have real income coming in from real businesses which are buying these tokens. It's different, and I don't think the market is actually recognizing it right now. I think the market is ignoring it, and I think Pump is an example. They're the big dog example, but it's across the board. It's with all these protocols that have tremendous revenue and are buying back the token, and people are like, meh, because we're so stuck in like we don't recognize that this is something. This is actually something. These are real businesses, and they're making real money, and they're putting that money right back into the token. And we're just like, meh, not a big deal. But I think it is a big deal. It may take a while to recognize it, but I think it is a big deal.
Yeah, I think the best way to like launch new products, maybe this is just like an Emblem thing, but instead of starting from fresh, you take what you have and you try to apply it to an emerging narrative, right? Because you're bringing your holders with you to whatever the new thing is. And then you get whatever the new community is, right? It's much different than trying to start from fresh, right? With basically launching a new token and trying to raise money on top of it. This is what Emblems we've continued to do over and over and over, right? Agent Hustle was built on top of Emblem Vault that we had already, that was launched into a emerging AI market. Not to mention the token itself was free, right? There was no sale for it. And then after that, we launched Migrate Fund, which was us building a migration for ourselves that then ended up turning into a product. What is Nakamoto's strategy? It's an existing collection of, over 100 million in TVL just sitting there. And we had this opportunity to basically take that TVL and ask somebody, hey, launch this collection where every single major NFT company is participating in, where we can be a big player. And again, the token was free. We didn't buy everything that all of the Nakamoto strategy tokens that are acquired by us have been bought on the market. There was no sale of this. It went through. So it's same model as everything else, just continues to be free stuff being launched in to emerging trends. And from I guess you would say an attention standpoint, right? The AI sector and some of these other sectors, they go in and out of attention cycles. And here's an opportunity to basically not only relaunch Emblem and gain new attraction, but then find new users who are interested in speculating. And we've been getting a ton of new followers on the Emblem account, myself, people reaching out who I haven't talked with in over a year or two, who basically are like, hey, this is awesome. Nakamoto strategy is great. You know, we love what you guys are doing, but have not been interested in participating in Agent Hustle for whatever reason, or they not interested in Solana stuff, but they are interested in the Emblem stuff. And, you know, sometimes you just have to kind of accept that you got to meet people where they're at. And not everyone's going to like every single one of your products that you have. I don't like every single show that's listed on Netflix. I don't like every single product that Amazon has, right? I don't, you know, like all these different products that I use, you're not generally not 100% aligned with all of it. And this is kind of the same situation here. So restarting a lot of that and re-energizing the Emblem community. And eventually, you know, if Nakamoto strategy or just strategies overall gain a lot more adoption, then all of that trickles down into hustle. But that can't immediately trickle down until we find out if strategies are successful or not. And the only way to find out is to fuck around.
I don't know if you guys saw the Friend Tech got shut down. Did you see that the other day too?
Yep.
Shut down, which is interesting.
You mean fantasy?
Sorry, fantasy top. They all blend.
SocialFi, man.
SocialFi, but you know those guys still had earned millions and millions of dollars in fees. They still have $10 million in their treasury, and they gave up on it. It's just for that. That's the type of thing where I'm like, wow, that's kind of incredible. And I'm not saying you don't pivot or you don't do something different, and maybe they are, but it just seemed like, wow, they were like, we're not going to put any money back into this system. And it's like, wow, but you probably made $15 million, and now you've got 10 left, and you're just like, no, washing hands of it. I don't know, man. That's incredible. Incredibly bold.
That would rub me the wrong way a little bit. Chris, what's your thought on that?
You know, they probably just saw an opportunity to do something else that could have been bigger and better. And instead of just treading water, and, you know, you have to be fully aligned. Talk about alignment. You have to be aligned with your product, and you can't build something that you don't necessarily believe in anymore because it won't be successful. It takes everything that you have to really put out into the world for it to be really successful. And that's what we do with Hustle. We have a suite of products, and they all have different narratives, and they'll all come and go as they please within those narratives. But we're building so that there's some part of Emblem, there's some part of Hustle, there's some part of Migrate Fund that's always relevant. And a lot of people are maybe concerned that Nakamoto strategy is another token. Well, this is a token industry. There's tokens everywhere. Okay. Everything is a token. The only way to get direct exposure to Emblem is through Hustle. We have one token. That's it. Naka strategy is a product of Emblem. And so we're going to support our products because we want them to succeed. The more that they succeed, the more revenue that will trickle down into Hustle. And the only way that we would get more token work strategies is if maybe Nakamoto strategy was a success. Why would we launch more strategies with token works if it wasn't a success? So obviously it's very critical that it is successful. So we're going to continue to support our products. But just in terms of the Hustle token and Nakamoto strategy token, there are a bunch of people out there that Hustle just doesn't have the ability to reach, like Jake said, because people aren't maybe interested in AI, or maybe they don't like what the Hustle product or whatever it is. But Nakamoto strategy is kind of an outreach to people that like Emblem, that are tangentially related, then maybe we can bring them one step closer into the ecosystem. And then if Nakamoto strategy is super successful, if they book a huge win, they'll probably explore how they can get further exposure to Emblem. And that'll bring us closer and closer to kind of more users, more community members, and more token holders. So although it might not be a direct benefit to Hustle today, because we have to get the product off the ground, it's such a great step in the right direction to becoming extremely valuable for the Hustle community. So just remember where we're at, zoom out a little bit. Not everything happens overnight, but we have direct revenues coming from Migrate Fund. We have more development than ever on Agent Hustle. Here's another product that is going to be spitting off direct instant revenues over time. And then it also jumpstarts the Emblem Vault ecosystem, which is the biggest one that we have. So not everything is instant, but good things coming.
That they absolutely are. It's exciting to say the least. We have a lot more announcements kind of coming. We're going to continue to experiment. We put out that we are going to try the essentially Emblem buybacks until the end of the year, and we'll review it. right? You know, there's a lot of things that could happen between now and January 1st, 2026. Some popular new strategy collections launch that maybe captures the attention and everything goes up. Who knows? Maybe it fails. But the one thing that we continually do is put our foot in the ground or put the shovel in the ground and continue digging. And if it's the wrong direction, then, you know, we'll get out of the hole and dig a new one, just as everyone should. One other product that I wanted to cover is our boy Leonidas, man, launching the Zap app yesterday. Huge. I did actually download it and I went and bought some dog. Took me literally like a minute to do.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool, pretty sweet. I thought it was kind of funny, like how dumbed down the thing actually is. It's literally
it,
just
doesn't
like
even tell you how many tokens you have. It just shows you dog, your dollar amount. I thought that was. I didn't play around more than that, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's quite funny, quite uncanny. I was gonna post this, but because we're working with exchanges, I didn't want to put in a tweet. But exchanges are so retarded that Leonidas decided that he had to build an app to get people to buy dog instead of have it listed on exchanges. Like, to me, that's the whole point of it. Him going through, you know, the pains, and obviously we kind of know as well, talking to all the exchanges, and a lot of them are actually pretty cool. Some of them, there's just like a language barrier. Some of the other ones are maybe a little bit more malicious, but no doubt in my mind that Leonidas probably came to the same conclusion that we're starting to come to, which is just that there's a majority of these exchanges that are just not going to play ball. And whether it's because they're extractive or they're unknowledgeable or whatever it is, at some point during this year, Leo and the team was like, these exchanges are not what we need to continue to push the dog narrative. And therefore, we're going to have to do it ourselves. And they created an app that allows you to buy dog, and they're going to add runes and stuff. I'm kind of curious on how the back end works, if it runs through what is it, Satgo or
It says
GoSat?
it runs on Solana, and I'm like,
Mhm.
how? You know, but I guess as long as the token's on Solana, they're buying it from Solana. I don't know how they're doing
I wonder if they're buying the dog version or the Solana version of dog, and then maybe they're just partnered with if they're partnered with some of the bridges to just ensure that there's enough dog volume on Solana to be purchased as it comes in. Like, they'll just bridge it over. So I'm sure there's probably like multiple parties working on this between the bridging infrastructure, whether it's Omnity or RuneMine.
Yeah, they're using RuneMine.
Using RuneMine. And then there's also the data aggregation, and also too, there's a lot of on and off ramp components to it, right? Integrating Apple Pay, getting it listed in the App Store. Once you get into like the mobile experience, there's like a lot more red tape, a lot more steps that you have to go through. But overall, really cool to see them pivoting. Unfortunate that a lot of the maxis and stuff really kind of turn on them and say, it's on Solana. But at this point in time, like, I don't like, if you're not accepting that everything is going to be cross chain, not just Bitcoin, like, that's just the way the industry is moving, just as the way the internet did as it moved and expanded different types of support, different types of infrastructure, and kind of moving on and forward. So congrats to them. Chris, did you get to dabble with Zap?
No, I just watched the previews, but it super cool. How many maxis are there? Like, to have like your business held like hostage by 12 people in a dark corner of the internet, obviously retarded. But I think Leo's another good example. He pivoted. To be an innovator, to be successful as an entrepreneur and as a startup, you have to constantly pivot. You always have to survey the market and move to where people are going. If they're not going to come to you, then you have to go to them. And so this is such like a good kind of example of exactly what we're talking about with Naga strategy, with all of our products. You can't just sit there and wait for a narrative to come and find you. Hopefully, you have to go and get it. You have to go and create it. You have to go join it. And so obviously we're super bullish on Leo. I mean, he's a hell of an entrepreneur, but he was building in a dark corner, and he obviously, finally realized that spinning his wheels in with Or.io wasn't enough. So he had to go and pivot the company and move towards Zap. And that's what real entrepreneurs do. That's what real startup founders do. And you just have to do what's right for you. Have to you always have to be moving. You can't be static. You can't be stagnant. It takes a lot to compete in this industry and just as a startup founder in general. So you always have to be really fluid and really receptive to the reality of where the market is. And the market needed some change, and he's there to make change. And so I'm bullish on entrepreneurs that are consistently pivoting, because that's what it takes to win.
Yeah, I'm excited that they released it. We did get to talk with Zach at Bitcoin Vegas, and he had told us that this is the direction that they were going. I was wondering if they were actually going to stay firm on Solana, or if they were going to change in the 6 months since we had talked to them, and it seems like they stuck. Also launched on the same day that Cash App announced that they're doing USDC deposits on Solana at the same time. So Bitcoin Maxi's just taking horrific stabs just one day after another of all of their top builders, just basically accepting the fact that, you know, you got to have a cross-chain component here in some capacity. Let me see if I could find I'm gonna pull up the post here. But Adam, did you see this Cash App thing?
I saw not did I see the Cash App? No, I was looking at Jack and what Jack was doing with Bitcoin. And I think I told you about when I hosted the talk here with the Bitcoin group, and they were big on Lightning. And when they saw what Jack posted, one of them DM'd me and was like, "See, it's all going to be done on Lightning." So I don't know. We'll see. But
hold on one second. Here's an example again of what Chris was saying. Solana quote tweeted Jack from 2022. Jack said, "Damn, I'll never get the spelling of Solana right." And then Solana says, "Integrating with Solana is easier than spelling it." And Jack was like a big maxi for a long time, right? And
you got to
pivot, had to accept, what is coming here. Cash App launching stablecoin support in early 2026, powered by Solana. Here's the post. Yeah, Cash App with 57 million monthly users to enable USDC payments in early 2026 on Solana, not on Ethereum. Sorry, go ahead, Adam. I just wanted to add that.
No, it's funny how well, it's not funny. It's kind of sad that it isn't happen on Ethereum, right? But that's just like, dude, that when you have a concentrated team who can like go after this stuff, they're just how they're going to lose. That makes me even more bullish on Solana. Very hesitant to sell my soul bag, because I feel like, given 5 or 10 years and you play this out, which one's going to more likely to win? And it's just, man, it feels like Solana just has a bunch of killers who are making this shit happen. I mean, what was the other one? Oh, the Western Union thing, right? It was like people were shitting on that. I was like, that's a fucking great play. Like, millions of people use fucking Western Union. These are people they're not going to get on chain. They're not going to have fucking wallets. They're not going to do that shit. These are people who want to walk into a building and do shit. Like, this is, I mean, to think that that's a bad play, it's just crazy. I actually love this type of work.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you should be bullish on people that pivot in companies that are able to move with the market, and always be reassessing like your core beliefs and how based in reality they actually are. Just because you believe in something strongly doesn't mean that that's actually true. And that doesn't mean that that's what the market wants and needs and requires of you. So as like product builders, are you going to build a product for yourself, or are you going to build it for people to actually use? Because if you're building it in a dark corner, no one's ever going to actually use it. You have to bring it to people.
It's entirely true. Crazy to see Cash App.
Do we think Zap's going to get any traction with normies? Is that possible?
It's possible. So I'll play out the Zap thesis in my own mind. Dog, which was one of the main reasons why I was like really bullish on it, and I still actually am, even though runes are quite down. It has a very heavy international community, right? And a lot of them being down in South America. And South Americans are no stranger to hyperinflation, which means they're no stranger to downloading different types of apps to try to circumvent that, right? Because they can't go through the traditional banking system, so they have to go through these neobanks and fintech applications. So the people in South America have adopted the mindset to download different apps to experiment, to get to whatever they need to do for a financial transaction. So I could see this being downloaded quite a lot down in, I think Brazil is where the biggest dog community is, but also there was a few others. I think Argentina was one of them, and Venezuela. So it was a lot of them, and I could see that taking off specifically because it's so easy to use, and because that community, or I'd say, the South Americans are just familiar with downloading financial apps because of the circumstances that they exist in. Obviously, not going to be straightforward and easy to do,
Sure.
but Leo has the influence. He has the support of the community. He's one of the biggest influencers. He has one of the biggest accounts in crypto. Like his engagement he gets is quite undeniable. And it's funny because of how large the dog community is. You feel like it's all bots, but realistically, I see them come up on stage just one after another, new people every single day in the dog community. And I think the Or.io team, now Zap, is very aware of that, right? If you win dog, that's probably a sustainable business for quite a long time, just as the same idea as Emblem and Rare Pepe's collaboration, right? Rare Pepe, big collection, big community, needed to go cross-chain to find adoption. And, we've had a lot of success with that. And you could kind of say this is the same idea, right? Dog is on Bitcoin. They've realized after a few years that it's just not going to find success staying on Bitcoin. And so they have to go cross-chain. Who's going to be the people to help them go cross-chain? The leader of the community, right? Through a cross-chain app. It's almost exactly the same idea that Emblem and Rare Pepe has done just 5 years later with a fungible token.
I like that. I'll relate it to like Bells. Basically, guys were able to get Koinomi wallet enabled, get us on there. And then some other guy got Alchemy Pay, which is like you can pay with a credit card to buy. But of course, you need the wallet then to hold it, right? But now they got those two things lined up. This is like the Zap app's like that all in one, right? Where it's just like Apple Pay. So if I'm talking, I mean, mainly literally guys are like selling it to their friends, like get some bells. And the guy's like, how to do it. And it's like Koinomi wallet, then buy with Alchemy Pay. But this is even better. It's just App Store on, and 20 seconds later, you have the token. So I actually, I like that thesis.
I mean, we look at it like we built Migrate Fund because we needed to migrate our token. That was the only way that it was going to succeed. They built Zap because they thought that discoverability was the hardest part of Dog and getting people to buy it. And so they built a good on-ramp for people to just buy it seamlessly. And then they added some kind of gamified ways. Like I know Adam likes the swipe right, swipe left to different tokens. They added that, I saw.
Yeah.
And just his distribution is really, really strong. So he's not starting from net zero users. He's starting from net thousands of users, probably. I'm sure he has like a couple thousand downloads already. So just as that, maybe that's not like the, biggest success of the company, but that's probably the starting, the entry point into his ecosystem. And then what do they build that follows up with that after that? I'm not sure, but it's definitely a good entry point.
Yeah, I completely agree as well. I wonder if you could find out, so I'll pull up here. I wonder if we could find out how many downloads it has here. Let's see if it shows. So I'm here on the website. Nope, doesn't show the downloads. I'm sure we'll get some numbers from Leo at some point here in the near future. So the Google Play Store has over 500 downloads. I'm not sure how much the App Store for Apple has, but you could assume that Apple probably has a lot more. So Chris is right. Probably a few thousand downloads already, which
really good
for one day launch of a very obscure protocol in the corner of the internet, as Chris would say, getting that few thousand downloads, like that to me is a huge win. And that to me, if I was on Leo's team running Zap, I'd be like, this is definitely the right decision. Seeing that, because it is very tough to get downloads.
They need to go. I mean, realistically, it's like you need to go like normie advertising, Instagram, TikTok. Like that's where it should be like, because crypto Twitter, if you want a dog, you've already been able to buy it, right? It's like they need to go normie friendly. I'm interested to know what Leo's strategy is for that.
Yeah, I mean, get Murad to start chilling it. Maybe he just sports Murad's tokens on there. It's just like normie meme coin, simple buying or something. But that's really cool to see. pro experimentation, man. Jack making some pivots, us making some pivots, Leo making some pivots. It just shows that you are unwilling to give up, just as all of the teams who are migrating with us, making pivots to new ecosystems because they know something has got to change. I'll wrap it up today. On Tuesday, we have Sergio from Meebits coming on the show to talk about Meebit strategy, which I had covered earlier today. So I've reached out to a few of the different individuals to talk with about their different strategy collections. So we'll see who responds, but continuing to find entertainment while the market is down, while everyone is tearing their heads off, and as companies are closing up shop. Until then, everyone, appreciate you for joining in. Make sure to check out Nakamoto Strategy, purchase some, got some announcements coming, buy some hustle, lots of updates, maybe a new chain next week if you're paying attention. Migrations on the go. We will see you guys next week at 1 p.m. Eastern. Until then, have a fun and safe weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Later, guys.
Later.